What is up, Legionnaires? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're about to go ahead and look at next week's new comic book day, and I'm going to give you my top 10 picks for what's releasing. If you want to know what's on the list, don't go anywhere. Hit that thumbs up. Let's get it started. Around to the end of the video to figure out how you can be entered to win the CGC 8.0 Incredible Hulk 180 First Wolverine. But in the meantime, let's give a huge shout out to BTC. Follow them on social media. Check them out at bigtimecollectibles.com. Find them on Whatnot. They're doing awesome things. If you need anything cleaned or pressed this holiday season, be sure to hit up Justin's Comics over on Instagram. His link is in the description below, as well as the links to everybody, including my local comic shop, ABX Comics and Games. They have a Facebook group that's also linked down below. A lot of fantastic people. Be sure to check the links. The links are important, but what's also important is I hope everyone's having a great day. Happy Thanksgiving to the channel members that may be watching this early on Thanksgiving, and I hope everyone else is having a fantastic weekend. There's a lot of good books that just released last week. I'm still trying to read through everything, but I had to stop and take a look at next week and see what's coming and make sure I'm prepared. So we're going to go through my top 10 list of new comics dropping November 29th. So these are in no particular order, and I'm definitely curious to what would be on your list. My list is very, very DC heavy this week, as it normally is, but I didn't get a single Marvel book on this week's. But as I say, every time that happens, that's not my fault. Marvel, you need to do better. Kicking it off is none other than Action Comics issue number 1059, The Men of Steel. Beautiful Steve Beach cover featuring Kal-El all armored out, as well as John Henry Irons. We know that he's dealing with the Blue World eco-terrorist clan pretty much. We saw that they made a play with their own super entity that looked like a clone of Superman that was taking his abilities. It was amazing watching him use his wits to take him out. It was really cool, and it's something that's underplayed with just how intelligent Superman is. It's not all about how hard he can hit, but it's how well he can think through problems. I'm excited to get into this next issue. A couple of backup stories in this one include Secret Identity and A Heart in Metropolis. The backup stories have been pretty solid through Action Comics. I've definitely loved the ones they've been doing with the younger John Kitt and Doombreaker that was introduced in the 30th anniversary death special. But I'm all in for this. Philip Kennedy Johnson has been knocking Action Comics out of the park, especially the fact that we get to deal with so much of the super family. Next up, we've got none other than Green Arrow, issue number 6. And this is another one that I'm just always really excited to see whenever it hits my list. Joshua Williamson is doing a fantastic job bringing Green Arrow back to life. It's been a fun universe hopping story here. Joshua Williamson is kind of architecting everything over at DC right now, so his stories seem to have a little bit more weight than others. I'm always reading them with a fine-tooth comb, and right now we've been looking at why it is that Green Arrow is afraid to come back to the main Earth, and he has the whole Arrow family looking for him. It's great to see this cast of characters again that you don't see too often in other things, but we found out in that last issue that he might have been lied to about why he shouldn't return home, and he's facing off against the entity that lied to him. We found himself shot through the chest on a rooftop by an alternate version of himself. It looks like green arrows from all across the multiverse are getting dumped into the same city together. Don't know why, don't know who's doing it yet, but we do get a lot of hints that Amanda Waller has something to do with what's going on. We know that we're building up to a massive Amanda Waller storyline. I'm hoping to see some of that foundation really getting built out in Green Arrow at this point. So this is the 6th issue in what originally was scheduled to be a 6-issue miniseries. Because the sales were so high, they went ahead and extended it to 12. I haven't heard any announcement if it'll go on beyond that, but I'm hoping to see some kind of answers and conclusion to the story arc that we're currently in with this 6th issue. Next up, another one that is just bonkers good. I think this one slept on heavily. It's Detective Comics issue 1078 by Rom V. He's doing a whole Batman Outlaw storyline right now that has Detective Comics coming out twice a month. The Organ family is making a play for Gotham. They shut down the city. They've taken control. They have a lot of the population under their control, and it's up to Catwoman and her merry band of villains to come and save Batman from the gallows. He's just hours away from being hung in front of the city, and Catwoman has a team, including Jim Gordon, Cheshire Cat, Lady Shiva, and more that are trying to go save him at high noon. Apparently, one of the people in Catwoman's ranks has been sending information to the Organs. We've got a turncoat on our hands, so we're going to figure out who that is in this issue and see what the ramifications of that are. Next up, one that I'm really on the fence about, but it does make the top 10 list. Size Barriers, The Flash, issue number 3. So we were introduced to the Still Force in the last issue. We were introduced to a lot in the first 2 issues, but it doesn't feel like we're going anywhere. Size Barrier, I think, has bitten off more than he can chew to do in such short amount of time. I feel like he's just throwing every idea, every concept he has toward this series into these first couple issues. So I'm excited to see how it actually starts to play out, if he starts to slow the story down and speed the pacing up, if that makes sense. I feel like it's just the book moves so slow because you're trying to cover so much ground. Needless to say, we're being introduced to a reoccurring villain called the Folding Man in this one. How he plays into the events going on, I have not a clue. All I know is the Flash is now finding a way to access and use his abilities in a way that he hasn't before. That was by accessing the Still Force, which was a really, really cool concept where he's able to stop, and not just stop running, but stop where he is in space and time while everything else continues to move. Very cool concept. It made for some really cool scenes, but I'm ready for the story to kind of find a footing and get some good pacing going on. But we'll see where it goes on from here. I'll definitely be following it. I don't see it dropping out of my top 10 list. I mean, it is the Flash. He kind of just comes with enough interest to kind of make the list. This one right here, though, this one is stellar. If you've been reading the current Wonder Woman and you just see the quality of writing that's really standing leaps and bounds above most everything else on the shelves, this book is the exact same way. Penguin issue number 4 from Tom King. We're seeing the return of Oswald Cobblepot to Gotham. Against his will, we have the government coming in and forcing his hand to come and take back control of the crime in Gotham. It's too outrageous. It's too all over the place without him. There's a difference between crime and organized crime, and Oswald was that. He was the lesser of two evil. So back in Gotham, he's going and making his play for his throne again, and it is wicked watching him do it, just taking apart people psychologically, besting them. He's really showing how such a random character like Penguin, a little 4-foot nobody, is capable of running the crime in such a famous city for violence under the protection of Batman at that. How is he able to do that? Well, you actually see for once. They're really redefining this character and making him a level of dangerous and of it's just insane how capable this guy is proving to be. He has what he needs. He has his help. He has his henchmen. Now he needs his femme fatale, and that's what this issue is going to be focusing on. And each individual issue has been very pointed like that. And what's really cool is the way that the narration dialogue is being ran through these. Whoever is speaking in the story, you're getting this like switch seats into their head and kind of experience the story through their lens via the narration bubbles, which is very unique. Tom King always finds a way to structure his stories a little bit different or drastically different than stuff he does in the past. So as a writer, it's fun following him and seeing what's going to be so different with his formatting and the delivery of these tales. And this one is no exception. It is fantastic and it's very unique. I highly suggest this. Thinking back a few months ago, I was telling everybody, I don't know why we need a Penguin book. It makes zero sense to get a Penguin ongoing. Now that we're into it, we need more of these. These are the proper One Bad Day books that kind of fell flat previously, except for the Riddler one that Tom King wrote. So the guy's batting 1,000. It's pretty insane. All right, next up we got boom, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, number 2 of 6. This is Tim Sheridan taking on the Golden Age OG original Green Lantern in epic fashion. So this is the third of 3 individual Golden Age characters that have their own book right now. Wesley Dodds Sandman has one, as well as Jay Garrett Flash. It's part of the whole new Golden Age initiative that we've been doing. And that first issue kind of shocked me. Tim Sheridan is not what I would consider to be a proven writer when it comes to like my taste and what I enjoy. He did Teen Titans Academy, which kind of fell flat. Started strong, fell flat. It felt like there was too much editorial in that one. He was also part of the creative team behind Flashpoint Beyond, which was fantastic. But it was Jeff Johns, phenomenal writer. Jeremy Adams, phenomenal writer, and Tim Sheridan. So you don't really know where credit goes where, but when Jeff Johns is attached to something, and Jeremy Adams has proven himself leaps and bounds. But this first issue of Alan Scott with the story structuring, the delivery, and dealing with something that's kind of like a divisive topic inside of comic books these days, which is the fact that Alan Scott is a gay character. He's a character that was retconned to be more inclusive with the whole LGBTQ thing. And he was a gay character since New 52, but bringing that aspect of the character back to the main universe, Alan Scott, was going to be a tough job to do. Well, Tim Sheridan is really the first one to pick it up and do a story with him since they did that. And he's doing it really, really well. It doesn't seem forced. It actually seems like it works very well for this character. And they're not just telling that story, but they're telling a story of somebody setting up Green Lantern. And it looks like this new retcon villain called the Red Lantern is going to be behind it. I'm very, very invested in finding out who this is and why they are, especially seeing how that first issue played out with the possibilities of how personal this character could be to Alan. So I'm very excited for this. I think Tim Sheridan's like, he's got the balance down proper right now. I hope it doesn't lean one way too far, one way or the other, but it's tough to pull that off well. Let's see if he can do it in the long term. Next up, this is a big one happening this week. It's Titans Beast World issue number 1. It's a little mini crossover event happening inside the pages of the Titans and probably some close adjacent comics. Pretty much it's a Beast Boy story. I think there's like some kind of like virus or entity that's come to Earth and it's turning people into actual beasts or animals. It sounds like something that's just straight up fun. Not sure who the creative team behind all this is, but they're really pushing the Titans to the forefront right now, and I can definitely get behind that. So I'm excited for this. We just did the little Gotham War thing that was fun. It was small. It was fast. So I'm hoping that this will be the same way. So getting a few little small crossover events happening here before we get to our big summer event, which I'm hoping to see the announcement for really soon. Next up, non-DC right here. This is Tony Daniels' Edenwood, issue number 2. So the first one went past my radar. One of the viewers, one of the Legionnaires out there, left a comment and reached out and everything and suggested I read the first one. So I went and did, and it was actually really, really cool. It has my attention, has my curiosity. I'm going to add it to the pull list, and I'm also very excited to dive into the second one. I'm not too much of like the fantasy reader, but this really got me. So I don't know where it lands in quality compared to other fantasy style stuff, but it feels like fantasy horror. It's like this whole mystical fantasy realm is like merging with Earth. It's almost like expanding like an infestation, and you enter into that land and you literally like, it's like you cross through a portal when you enter into the Edenwood, where witches and stuff reign, and there's like armies of and hordes of crazy stuff, and these kids find themselves over there accidentally and running. It was just wild. It's hard to really explain the details due to it not having delivered too many. It left you with a lot of questions, wondering a lot of stuff, but you have like demons and demon slayer kind of things, and that's what you got in that first issue. Horrific, violent looking imagery. The art was fantastic. So I'm excited to expand on this universe and get a better idea of what's happening with it. Next up, here's one that just keeps being added to the list because it keeps getting pushed back. It hadn't had a definitive release date, but it looks like we might have it now with King Kong, the Great War, issue number 4. Throwback, just fun monster issue right here. This series has been great. You have a U-boat that wrecked on Skull Island, them trying to survive it, and you're really diving into just how like primal we can regress to when like we're fighting for our lives. You have these people trying to go through Skull Island and figure out their surroundings and lick their wounds when the island itself is fighting back to kill you pretty much. And they feel like the biggest danger has not even encountered them yet, and that's none other than Kong himself. So this cover right here is just phenomenal. Cannot wait to get it in my hands. All of these covers from, God, I forget the name of this artist, but he's great. He's great. But I'm going to have to definitely keep an eye on it, and it may come out. Don't hold me to this one. This is like the 3rd time that it was like been pushed, so hopefully it'll hit. Last one is one that I was on the fence about. I did not enjoy the first volume of Batman 89. It was just weak. Superman 78 by Robert Venditti was phenomenal. Batman 89 was weak sauce, but we're getting a second 6-issue miniseries introducing more characters to the Michael Keaton Batman world that were never introduced to the movies. So that again has my attention. They brought in Two-Face in the first volume. Now we're getting Scarecrow and Harley Quinn. So I think there's some interesting stuff. I definitely want to try it out. I also like how Echoes is kind of written in the neon lights that I associate with Catwoman from the Tim Burton Batman world. But at least to say, I'm excited to see what they could potentially do with some new villains that were never in there. See how they're imagined, see how they're delivered. Harley Quinn has like the hat, and it looks kind of Jack Nicholson-y to me, and I like that. I'm excited to see what it's going to be. I'm excited to see how they're going to deliver Two-Face. Hope it's good. I hope it's something that when I read it, it gets me just as excited, nostalgic as the Superman 78 stuff did. But we'll definitely have to wait and see. Be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you're picking up this week. And like I said, if for your chance to win Incredible Hulk CGC 8.0 First appearance of Wolverine. Don't forget to hit that join button down below. Myself and DJ Links have come together for another channel member appreciation event. Everybody who is a channel member in the Legion tier will get 2 entries into this. If you're a channel member of mine and DJ's, you will get a total of 10 entries, and we'll do the event February 2nd. 9 p.m. over on DJ's channel. The last one we did live on my channel. We're switching it over and going to hold it on DJ's channel. So it is a 2-month-long event, so you must be a member for December and January to have the entries put in there. So be sure to check that out. I have a full video with all the details pinned to the top of my YouTube page. So if you go to my homepage, you'll see the video right there at the top. Get all the details. Definitely something fun we wanted to do for the members. We appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate all the subscribers out there. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.